Alright, today we look at the continuation of quadratic equations. You know, last time we talked about how to solve quadratic equations. We dealt with factorization method, the completing the square method, and formula method, the one we call quadratic formula. We also have graphical method. In this video, we look at another part of quadratic equations, and that is how to obtain roots of a quadratic equation, which is how to solve the quadratic equations, and how to obtain a quadratic equation when the roots are given to you. A very quick revision of what we did in the last video. If you are asked to solve the quadratic equation x squared plus 7x plus 10 equal to 0. When you are asked to solve this, it means we are looking for the roots, and it simply means we are looking for two numbers such that when you substitute the two numbers for x, you will have 0. That is the simple meaning of quadratic equations. So we will be using one method for this question, and that is the factorization method. To factorize this, like we did in the previous video, we look for two numbers such that when you multiply, the product will be plus 10 and the sum will be plus 7. And we had this and this with this equal to 0. That is factorization method. When we find the HCF of this, we are having x into x plus 2. Then we have plus 5 into x plus 2 equal to 0. Such that we notice that x plus 2 is common to these terms. Then we pick x plus 5 equal to 0. This is only possible. The product of this and this is possible if x plus 2 is equal to 0 or x plus 5 is equal to 0. If you solve this, you will have x equal to minus 2 or x equal to minus 5. Now, these two values are what we call roots of this equation or solutions to these equations. It means if x is minus 2 and I substitute it here, I will get 0. Or if x is minus 5, if I substitute it here, for x, I will also have 0. Please, I want you to notice this. I have called these two values roots of the quadratic equation, because it will lead us to the next part of this video. Alright, I also want us to solve the second example. This is number 1. The second example, number 2. Solve 3y squared minus 2y minus 1 equal to 0. And I shall be using factorization method. I am using this method so that we can move over to the main thing in the video. And to factorize this, we use 3 to multiply minus 1. There you will have minus 3. Look for two numbers, that's the factors this time, of minus 3, such that the product will give you minus 3 and the sum is still minus 2. So we'll be using 3y squared. That would be minus 3y plus y minus 1 equal to 0. Now we have this and we factorize this to have 3y into y. 3y divide 3y, of course we have 1, plus here we have 1 as the HCF, giving us y minus 1 equal to 0. Now we have y minus 1 being the common term into 3y plus 1 equal to 0. This is possible when y minus 1 is equal to 0 or 3y plus 1 is equal to 0. Solving the first one gives us y equal to 1 or 3y equal to minus 1. Finally, I'm having y equal to 1 or 3y or y equal to minus 1 over 3. don't forget that these two are still the roots of the quadratic equation. So for number 1, we have the roots minus 2 minus 5. For number 2, we have the roots 1 and minus 1 over 3. If I substitute these two values into this, I will have 0. That's the last thing, the previous thing we did. In this video, we look at how to obtain quadratic equations. If I'm giving roots, how to obtain roots is to solve a quadratic equation. And how to obtain a quadratic equation when you are giving roots is what we have to do today. If you are giving roots of an equation and the question says, find the quadratic equation whose roots are stated. Now we look at these examples.